here in my garage. No, I'm just joking. That is not that kind of video. If you know, you know, good reference. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about trading psychology today, kind of just rambling. As you guys see the background here, we have my car and my dad's car. I'm not LARPing. This is not my car. This is my car. But the point remains the same. So I just want to talk about trading psychology. I just want to ramble a little bit. I'm not editing this video whatsoever. This is going to be one cut, zero edits. Trading psychology is one of the hardest things to master, and it is the reason why a lot of people fail, okay? I want to talk about a few things real quick about my life and my dad's life, why this is relevant. People that are successful in life, they take risks, okay? Anything that is easy in life is not worth achieving, and you need to get outside of your comfort zone, okay? A few things I want to talk about. Number one, I used to have an e-commerce business. I did make money in the e-commerce business. For several reasons, I decided to get out of the e-commerce business in 2022. This was in my high school, college years. I never went to college, but the years I would have been in college is what I'm trying to say. So I was making money in e-commerce and it was doing great. And I decided to literally cut it cold turkey because I hated it so much, and I had savings and I had, a reserve where I wouldn't just be fucked if trading didn't work. But I hated it so much and I wanted out and I wanted a better future for myself that I decided to make that uncomfortable decision to get out of e-commerce. And again, I went from a guaranteed figure every single month to literally zero for over a year because I had to make that step for myself and for my future. And obviously now it's worked out. I made way more money than I have in e-commerce, and my life is better, my health is better, everything is better, and that wasn't guaranteed. And that was a really scary thing to think about at the time. Because if any of you guys know about my story, I lost almost $30,000 trading options in 2023 or 2024. I think 2023. In end of 2023, early 2024, options was kicking my ass. And again, I didn't go back to e-commerce. I didn't go the safe route and just do all that stuff. I stuck with it. I had conviction in myself. I knew that I made money online before in another market, and I could do it in this market. And fast forward to 2026, we've made six figures alone this year in prop firm payouts. I doubled my trading payouts this year in terms of last year, and we still have 4 or 5 months left in 2026. So it's unbelievable. It's honestly unbelievable. And that just, again, comes from getting outside of your comfort zone, which is what I will talk about with the trading psychology a little later. Now going on to my dad. Not going to share too much personal information, but he used to own a business. We lived in another state. He didn't like the living conditions in that state. He wanted to move to Florida, which is where we are now. And again, he closed his business. He closed his business in that state. We moved to Florida. For 12 months, he was transitioning to a completely different business. It had nothing to do with what he did in the old state that we used to live in. And for 6 to 12 months, he had no job. And that's even scarier because he had a wife, he had kids, right? He had people he needed to support. He had responsibilities. And he for 6 to 12 months, as he was transitioning to this new business, he didn't have a job. And I remember that when I was 10 or 11, he bought an old black Trans Am. If anybody knows the movie Smokey and the Bandit, it's an American muscle car. He bought a black Trans Am and he was just fixing it up in the driveway for 6 to 12 months to, I guess, kind of, keep his mind off of things while this was happening. Because I'm sure that was probably one of the most stressful times in his life to him, because just the uncertainty, oh my, I just moved to a different state. I just left my business and now I'm in a whole nother state and I'm going to have to try this other business. Is it going to work? All of these questions and these doubts. And that's what I've noticed, the successful people come from. And I've learned a lot from him, but the successful people and stuff like that just happens from getting outside of your comfort zone, taking that risk and just coming through on top. What the heck? Hold on, guys. All right, anyway, I'm not even cutting that out. There's like an automatic light switch on this garage. But anyway, so yeah, I learned a lot from him growing up, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why I am here today is just because of him and watching the things he did. And like I said, sitting in front of me is a Ferrari 488. This thing is worth almost $400,000 now. And he didn't go to college. He didn't even graduate high school. He has a GED, if you know what that is. So it's unbelievable, man. But you just have to take those risks. And going into trading psychology, that is why I gave you these first two stories, is because trading psychology is no different. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, right? When there are things that are uncomfortable or unnatural or that your brain thinks is harmless, it's going to send signals. All of those emotions, the fear, the doubt, the anxiety, your brain is going to send signals to keep you safe. And sometimes you're going to have to just fight those signals and do what's uncomfortable. And that is why so many people fail. There's mechanical trading, and then there is psychology in trading. And those are two things that you have to master. And in my opinion, I've been doing this for going on to 3 years now in terms of having a community, working with people, talking to students, and seeing them go from unprofitable to profitable. It's trading psychology. It's them being fearful when a setup comes. It's them not sizing properly. It's them not holding runners to where they need to hold it to. And there's nothing that I can do, or there's nothing that anybody can do at the end of the day. You can watch all the videos in the world, even including this one. You can do all the back testing in the world. But if you don't do what needs to be done in that split-second decision, it's you pressing the button at the end of the day, okay? That's why anytime somebody messages me and they're like, oh, Tempo, I just got a payout with your model. Thank you so much. It's all thanks to you. I never take credit because you're the one pressing the button. Whether you make money or whether you lose money, I'm never going to take credit for that because you need to press the button. You're the only one in the room that can change your future, okay? There's people, I stream in front of 500 people every single morning. There's people where I'm like, hey guys, this is a great trade. I'm going to take this setup. I'll take it. It'll win. And then I'll have people in the chat kicking themselves because they're like, oh man, I missed it, or it went too fast, or I hesitated, and they won't take it. And it's like, no matter what, you're going to have people like that. They don't take it. They're scared. They hesitate. They don't size correctly. And that's why I think trading psychology is the hardest thing to master in the industry. And that's why you don't see more traders. Now, for me, a big thing when I was coming out or starting, I guess, or coming up is greed. Greed was a big thing. Because as I mentioned before, I had a business. I had an e-commerce business. So I was used to making money online. And the thing with trading is it's so crazy to wrap your head around how you can make thousands of dollars in a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just watching a candle go up and down a chart. It's almost mind-fucking to understand how that works. Because when you think about the real world outside of that computer office, how people are doing 40, 50-hour work weeks to make $1,000, it's mind-fucking. Like, it's mind-fucking. So, like, the money almost doesn't seem real. And again, you become desensitized to it almost. Like, when I was making money in e-commerce, I became, like, desensitized to money. And it's like your tolerance of money almost goes up in a bad way. And that was my problem early on. I was used to making all this money online. So then when I used to trade and I would be making, $300 a day or on my options account or $500 a day, I'm looking at all these guys on social media flexing 5 figures, 100K. And I'm like, all right, let me just push it to 1,000. Let me try to get to these numbers. And that's when I would give it back. And, I would go from plus 500 and it's a pretty good day to now I'm down 200 or I'm down 700. And now I'm like, all right, now I need to chase that loss. Now I need to try to get back to where I was before I fucked up. And now I'm down even more. And I'm sure every single person watching this video has experienced what I'm talking about right now. So that was a big thing for me in terms of trading psychology, okay? And again, how did I fix that? Well, coming up with a plan. And that's why my segue into prop trading felt so good. Because With options, it's a live account. There's no rules. There's unlimited amount of money how much you can make. You can make 500 a day. Oh, it's doing it again. Hold on. That's just gonna, listen, chat, I'm not even live. That's gonna happen every like 5 minutes, and I'm not editing any of that. So what was I saying? With options trading, you can make 500 a day, you can make $100,000 a day. There's no cap. So when I was in my first, going into second year of trading, I actually felt like the prop firm rules helped me because it almost, and I've talked to other traders about this too, it almost keeps you in a box of like what you can do and what you can't do. And I'll give you an example, okay? Some prop firms have consistency rules, meaning you can only make a certain amount of money every day versus, if you want to get a payout the fastest way possible. And that actually helps. I've talked to people and it's like, they're like, that actually helped me with over trading because if I'm up 500 and I want to make 3,000, there's actually no point in going for 3,000 because I would be outside of the consistency rule. So that rule in itself keeps them in the box and actually helps them trade structured. And the point I'm trying to make is I found my segue to prop firms helpful. And I was almost immediately, within a couple months, I was more immediately almost as profitable compared to options where I was losing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I got to the break-even stage pretty quickly with futures and then soon later on, profitability. Because with the prop firms, it's like, okay, you have an account, you have the consistency rule. So I started making rules for myself. I'm like, okay, first prop firm I ever traded was back in 2023, Apex Trader Funding. Back then, Apex Trader Funding and Top Step were like basically the two honchos. Now you have so many different firms. You have like 20 different firms. Back then, there's really only like 2 or 3 options. But yeah, back then it was like, all right, I get the funded account. I have a consistency rule. Let's see what I can do. And what I did was I'm like, you know what? If I can make, now back then, now you guys got it good. Now it's only 5 trading days to get a payout. Back then it was 8 on Apex. So back then I was like, okay, if I have to hit around $2,000 profit and I have to trade 8 trading days no matter what, let me just try to make, there's something in my eye, but I was like, let me try to make $200 to $300 a day for 8 days. After that, that's gonna be like $1,600 to $2,400 profit. I should be close, if not eligible for a payout. Let me just do that for 8 days. And then I can start copy trading, adding accounts, because now a $200 a day on one account turns into a $1,000 a day if I'm copy trading 5 accounts. And that connected with my brain. It kind of removed the greed and the over trading problem that I had in my first year. Because in my options days, I would look at a $300 a day and I'd be like, that's nothing. Like I need to make more or this doesn't feel worth it. Whereas now, if I make $300 today and I times it by 20 accounts, I'm like, okay, that's $6,000. If I can just do this for 4 more days in a row, I'm gonna be eligible for a huge payout. And that helps my trading psychology. And it got rid of the issue. It really did. It got rid of the over trading. It got rid of the over leveraging. And that's what helped me personally. Another thing that really, really helped me was having a lockout button. Okay, this is something that has become kind of mainstream in the last year, but Project X, Trade-Evate, Quant Tower, they have lockout buttons, right? To where you can physically press, some are automatic, some are manual. The one I use is manual, but you can literally press a button in your trading software and it will physically lock all your accounts until the next trading day. So no matter, and you can't unlock it. There's literally 0 way to unlock it. So that also helps me, right? On stream now, whenever I take a win, if my first trade is on fundeds and it's a win, I go to the lockout button, I hit it without even thinking, without even letting a second trade develop. Without even letting a second trade develop, I hit the lockout button. Because at the end of the day, my trading psychology is not every single trade can lose, no matter how good it looks. There's gonna be A+ setups, there's gonna be F setups, whatever. Every single trade has a chance of losing. So if I have a 100% chance of ending my day green after my first trade, I'm not going to take the risk on the second trade, no matter how good it looks, because I know the burden and the potential harm I'll do to myself if that second trade loses, I give back my profits, and now I'm emotional. That is a much more dangerous position and a state of mind to be in than to go for more profits. And there it is again. I wonder if there's any way to fix that. This is the first time I've recorded in here, but yeah, so that's what I've learned about myself. And again, another part about trading is a psychological journey. You need to learn about yourself. What makes you tick? What sets you off? What keeps you calm? Like, for example, I know myself. I know that if I take my first trade and it's a winner and I lock my accounts, even if the second trade that ends up coming up would have been a win, that doesn't piss me off. It doesn't give me FOMO. It doesn't piss me off because it's happened many, many days. And I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm already locked out. I'm green. I don't care. Because another thing I've learned about myself is I hate losing more than I like winning. And I know that sounds crazy, but just let that sink in for a second. I hate losing more than I like winning. So when I see that happen, I don't care. When I win the first trade, but then lock my account, and then the second trade would have also been a winner, I don't care because I won no matter what. And then again, when I win the first trade and I lock my account, and then I see that the second trade in hindsight would have been a loss, I'm even happier. I'm like, holy shit, that's why I have the rule right there. This is Exhibit A. So yeah, I mean, you just got to learn about yourself, man. Another thing, I don't even know how long this video is. Let me see if I'm still recording. Again, I'm not cutting any of this. Yep, I'm still recording. But the last point I'll really make for today is just kind of my mindset. And I touched on this a little bit on one of my reels on Instagram. I have never been an emotional person in my life. And I'm speaking from the heart here. I have never been an emotional person in my life. I don't know why that is. I know it's good to have emotions. Like, emotions are great. It's what makes a human. Happiness, sadness, anger, frustration. But for the most part, I don't get too high and I don't get too low. And that's like throughout my life, outside of trading. You know, a great thing happens, a bad thing happens. I try not to get too high and low because I understand that life is all about highs and lows. You're going to be up here, you're going to be down here. And it's really how you handle those swings is what life is all about. And that's kind of what I've understood about myself. I'm 25. You know, obviously there's people who have gone through a lot more life than I have, but just from what I've seen, that's kind of the ideology and the way I look at life. And that also kind of helps me. Like, I just come in and I'm like, listen, you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You got to take the good with the bad. And the profitable traders are the ones that handle the bad days the best. And I also just incorporate like the is what it is mentality. Like, the is what it is. Fuck it. It is what it is. You know, if I take a trade and it gets wicked out, break even, and then the trade ends up going all the way to my TP, but it took me out of the trade, it is what it is. It hurts in the moment. I know it does, but it is what it is. I'm moving on. And that has also helped me, just like not being emotional, not being reactionary to every single thing. Because like, I've met traders where they will literally, one minor inconvenience will happen to them on one day and boom, it'll set them off. They forget all their rules. They see red, they black out. Next thing you know, all their accounts are blown. And it's like, man, do you really think you're going to go through trading and not get unlucky once? Like, you're going to get lucky. You're going to get unlucky. It is what it is. It is what it is. Like, just control what you can control genuinely. And that's the mentality I have. I mean, I even said it like last week on my Instagram. I could crash this car tomorrow. I promise you. I could crash this car tomorrow. It's 250 grand. Would I be upset? Yes, of course I would be upset. Would I cry? I would not cry. After 6 hours, after 12 hours, it is what it is. Okay, how's the damage? Can I go through insurance? My brain, I'm already figuring out what I can do next. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. It is what it is. Am I healthy? Am I okay? Am I injured? Like, how long until I can get another one? Like, I don't care. It is what it is. That's the mentality I have. And I know I sound like a psychopath right now. I'm sorry, but that's just the way my brain works. And I feel like the reason I'm telling you this is because I feel like that helps me. That's the way I look at the market. That's the way I look at the charts. That's the way I execute my accounts. And I feel like that helps me. I'm not reactionary. I'm not emotional. I'm very rational and logical. And that's just the way I look at things in life, outside of trading, in trading. And hopefully you can learn something from that. But let me know what you think. I kind of like this rambling style. This is the first time I've ever recorded in the garage. So let me know if you like this background. I'll use other backgrounds in the future. And yeah, guys, that's going to be it for me. If you have any psychological questions, let me know. Post them in the comments. I'll reply to some. Subscribe. We're going to do more videos. And I'll see you on the next one, man. Take it easy.